I came to see if there was anything you want. May I touch her? Susan? It's me, Sarah. Goodbye, Susan. I'll come again tomorrow. Will you be able to keep her here, in the nursing home?
I hope so, while she's quiet like this. It may be only a passing phase. I'll stay with her if that's all right. Captain Samuels, I'll see you.
She seems quite happy.
Yes, because she's free. Susan freed the baby first, in a ritual, a ring of fire. Like the scorpion you watched when you were children.
Yes.
And dressed him in a christening gown with a pattern of lace butterflies. Your mother says someone told Susan that butterflies were prisoners, caught in a web. A missionary that stayed with your step-grandmother. Is that important, do you think?
I think it's important to my mother, Captain Samuels. She'd probably like to blame Miss Batchelor for anything that's wrong. Ought I to tell you that?
It's what I thought. I told your mother Miss Batchelor was not to blame. Is she important to your sister? That's what I mean.
Barbie? No, not really. Important to me.
Come in.
Barbara, I'm sorry, this is very difficult. Mrs. Layton, Mildred, has asked me to return these to you.
No. The spoons? But they were my wedding gift to Susan. How could Mildred possibly...
I'm sorry, Barbara. I know it was wrong of her. You gave the spoons to Susan, and they are not her mother's to return. But what could I do? Dearly as I should have liked to refuse, I couldn't hide them. I hope you will take the exceptional circumstances into consideration and forgive her.
Blessed are the insulted and shat upon, for they shall inherit the kingdom of heaven, which is currently under offer with vacant possession.
What did you say?
Forgive me, but the circumstances are indeed exceptional. I am not myself. Mildred is not herself. Thou art not changed, and God is not mocked. I have a letter from the mission. Mr. Studholme writes from Calcutta. He's sorry that he has no employment to offer, and no accommodation to go with such employment. But I have Mabel's legacy, £150 a year now, so I can afford to give you and Arthur a little more for my board and lodging.
It's only a temporary arrangement. Your suggestion is generous, but you must understand I can't accept it.
They are apostle spoons. Did you look, Clarissa? Which of them is Doubting Thomas, would you say? They were all working men, smelling of sweat and fish and the timber yard. They'd get short shrift in Pancot. Wouldn't give twopence for their chances in the officers' mess, where they keep the silver. But they are silver, the spoons.
I'm sorry, Barbara. But there are things I must attend to.
A gift for the officers' mess. Of silver. Oh, good afternoon. I wonder if you can help me. Do you know if Captain Coley is here or in the mess?
Coley, the adjutant? No, I'm afraid he isn't. Have any of you chaps seen Captain Coley? No. He wasn't in the mess at lunchtime either. I expect he's gone home.
Dreadfully inconvenient. I suppose I should have rung, but I was on an errand. I was coming this way.
Well, we could give you a lift if you like. We're going past his quarters.
Really? Oh, that would be kind, in view of the weather.
No trouble. If you just hop in and mind the step, it's rather high.
Thank you. Yes, I can manage. Wasn't raining at all when I left home. Not that I minded.
Adjutant Sahib Bungalow.
Adjutant Sahib.
Not too far off the track. It's a bit narrow for the truck while we take it to the door.
Oh, I'm all right. I'm dressed for it. Good luck if I don't see you again. I hope I haven't made you late.
That's fine.
Bye. Bye. Oh, protected. Captain Cody?
How long has she been like this?
I made her promise not to get up. After that, I was busy all day. Then the boy said she hadn't touched her supper.
I wish I'd known sooner. It's risky moving her, but I don't think we could save her here. She's got bronchopneumonia and the heart's pretty weak. What on earth's the poor thing been doing?
She set off yesterday to visit Captain Coley, but he wasn't there. He brought her sou'wester back today. I think she must have dropped it on his veranda and then got soaked on her way home.
I suppose she's quite alone in the world.
Till she came to Pancot, she lived entirely for the mission. She talks about getting back into harness, but of course she's past it. I think it was a letter she had saying they wouldn't have her back that brought this on.
Will you have her back, Mrs. Pepper? That is, if the question should happen to arise. I ask because it could be important. If we get her over it. People don't only die of disease, you know.
Dear Colonel Traherne, I am sending you today a small gift of silver teaspoons, which I should like to present to the officers' mess in memory of the late Mrs. Mabel Leighton. I hope this will be acceptable. Yours sincerely, Barbara Batchelor.
Well, Millie, you should be glad I came. I've got you out of that poky little Grace and Favour bungalow and into Rose Cottage at last. After all these years. There's somewhere for John to come home to.
Any news on that front? Nothing for weeks. Through the Red Cross. Since D-Day. Which won't surprise you. Oh, probably Kevin. Aren't you fed up with nursing the brat? Minnie can take him.
No, don't bother. Nearly asleep.
Hello?
She never was much good with babies. You know, I had to prod her rather to let me come. And Arthur didn't want me to leave Calcutta. But it's a mercy I did. With Susan in the nursing home and everything to move up here.
How is Susan?
It's going to take time. Well, that's what he says. Captain Samuels. I can't say I'm altogether happy with him.
Why?
Well, I dare say he's useful to the army, spotting malingerers and that sort of thing. One has to face it, Nicky. He is a man. He's a Jew.
Yes.
Isn't it? Millie believes that Susan's trouble has something to do with that woman who used to live here with Mabel, that missionary.
Miss Batchelor.
Millie's awfully against her, isn't she? And the estate's had to fork out for her annuity as well. I mean, Millie says if she dies after it's been bought, that's hundreds of rupees wasted.
Perhaps she won't live long enough for it to be bought at all. Clarissa Peplow told me Captain Travers doesn't expect her to pull through.
She's been in hospital for over a week and she hasn't popped off yet. And whether she does or not, Millie says the idea of an annuity can only have come from her because it's a typical lower middle class idea of upper class respectability.
Major Traherne says her husband's had a present from Miss Batchelor. A little gift of silver for the mess. He thought it rather touching.
This baby's wet. I shall have to take him into Minnie after all. No, Panther, you stay here. He's missing Susan, of course.
Pipe down, Panther. Susan Mem gone. Right of a chump, in fact.
Bacha gela hai, aur usko doodh peena hai.
हाँ मैम साहब.
Millie?
Oh. I thought you were on the phone.
I was. Sarah's coming home from the DAFTA. It was Dickie Bobey. She's coming home in his car.
Why? Must be only 12. What for?
Sarah passed out at the DAFTA. Only we're not supposed to know. Dickie says he'll be back with her in about 10 minutes with some story about the DAFTA being slack.
Well, perhaps you'll listen now and stop being silly. It's ridiculous her going to the DAFTA at all.
You think so?
You can't let her go on like this with Susan being ill. It's all too much. If you won't speak to her, Millie, I will.
Haven't you spoken to her already?
What do you mean?
What should I mean?
Oh, one of us must talk to her. I've been thinking. If Sarah doesn't get a holiday soon, she'll crack up. Why don't I do what I suggested the other day and take her back to Calcutta with me when I go? And then, when Susan's better, we can all meet in Darjeeling for a few weeks and be back in Calcutta again in time for Christmas. Let's face it, Millie, Pancot's awfully dull for young girls like Sarah and Sue.
You used to say what a jolly little place it was.
Well, it's not anymore.
No. And compared to Calcutta, it's got nothing to offer. No madly handsome young officers fresh from the jungle ready to tear the place apart.
Well, it would do Sarah the world of good.
You think so?
Don't misunderstand me, Millie, but I think a lot of the burden's fallen on Sarah, with John being away all these years. I mean, I know it's been hard for you as well, but it's not right for a young girl. It's beginning to show. I mean, with men. And we don't want Sarah on the shelf, do we? You should have seen her when she was with us just that one day. The boys thought she was stunning, and one in particular.
Wasn't one enough? Take her to Calcutta, then. The sooner the better, I imagine.
Millie, what on earth is wrong?
Oh, stop putting on an act. It's very good, but it's beginning to irritate me. I don't want to know the details now or ever, but you can stop treating me like a bloody fool because I know exactly what's been going on. If you want Sarah to think she's fooled me, all well and good, but you're my silly little sister and it would be bad for my morale to let you imagine you got away with it.
You're drunk, Millie, that's all I know. But you must be right. I am silly. Dense. I haven't the least idea what you're talking about.
Oh, haven't you honestly?
No, I haven't.
Then you better come with me. There's a glass in there if you want to bring the gin. Sarah packed everything for herself and Susan when we did the move. One thing I've always done for her, perhaps the only thing, is make sure she has plenty of sannies when she's due. She's regular, but she has a ghastly time, as I did before she was born. She was due a week after her visit to you in Calcutta. I gave her one of these packets then. She was due again last week. That's when I gave her the other one.
Millie, what are you saying?
That according to the evidence in here, Sarah's missed twice and hasn't told me. I thought perhaps she told you. To make you help her get hold of the man you so kindly introduced her to, or to get rid of the thing in Calcutta. Isn't that what this cosy little trip is all about? To fix her up with some shady Calcutta doctor who'll pop her neatly into some expensive clinic as Mrs. Smith requiring a D&C?
No, Millie, no.
Well, that's what you're going to have to do, get the bloody thing aborted. My God, I could murder you. You had charge of her for 24 stinking hours, and she's in the bloody club. What a ridiculous woman you are. In Mirat, you made that silly fuss about her going riding with the young Kasim boy. Was it wise? Isn't that what you asked me? It's a pity you didn't ask yourself if it was wise before you chucked her into the arms of some randy little English officer from God knows where.
No, Millie, it wasn't that at all.
There's the car. You better pull yourself together. As soon as Nicky Paynton's gone, you can start to worm it out of her. Pretend I don't know if you like, but deal with it. You understand?
Millie, you can't be sure.
Oh, God!
Hello, Mrs. Layton.
What a nice surprise.
Nothing much on at the Dafter. I thought I'd drop Sarah round.
You stay for lunch. I'll tell Mahmoud. Sarah, dear, you look exhausted. Go in and freshen up. And get out of that boring old uniform. Nicky Paynton's here. We're on the veranda.
Sarah? Oh, poor Black, poor Black. It's all right. I know. I'm sorry. It was Jimmy Clark. Oh, it's so dreadful.
Doesn't matter. I didn't love him. Sorry, Aunt Fanny. I know what I've got to do.
The Viceroy also inspected men of his old division, which arrived in India 2 years ago. Lord Wavell told them what he and all of us think of their magnificent record. United Kingdom or Indian soldiers, it's one and the same story, a story of the utmost gallantry, often against great odds. The Maharaja of Manipur, whose state the Japs invaded, was present at the parade. And the Naga chiefs from the hills on the Assam-Burma frontier brought presents for the Viceroy. All sorts of things, swords, blankets, and embroidered cloths. With solemn dignity, they made their presentations to Lord Wavell as Viceroy, but of course it was also their way of thanking every fighting man in Burma for driving back the Japs. For their gifts, the Viceroy, in turn, thanks them.
Hello, Barbie. Are you feeling better? I brought you these from the garden. The yellow ones you like.
Thank you, sir. My silly old voice seems to be packing up. Some might say a blessing. You've been here before.
Once or twice. You were asleep. I came today because I'm going to Calcutta with Aunt Fanny. We leave tomorrow. When Susan's better, she and Mother are going to join us. Then we'll all go to Darjeeling, probably sometime in September. We're going to close Rose Cottage, only till Christmas.
Objection. I don't want you to go.
I've got to go in any case. I promised Aunt Fanny. They think I need a holiday.
Are you ill?
No, Barbie. Do I look ill?
You'll like Calcutta. But my trunk, it's still at the Marley's shed. Does your mother know?
I'll remind the Marley. He's staying to take care of things.
Will you see Captain Merrick in Calcutta?
I think he's gone. Somewhere they fit artificial limbs.
So soon after the amputation.
It was 2 months ago.
I think Miss Manners must have been rather a special person. She could have got rid of it before it was born. People would have praised her. I often think of Captain Merrick when I'm lying here.
Do you, Barbie?
Those boys, he said, attacked Miss Manners. Suppose he got it wrong.
Yes.
Would it be worse for him to know it, or not to know it?
Better to know, in the end. Better than to have no conscience. Don't let's talk about Ronald Merrick. Let's talk about you.
Small subject, little voice. Do you think God is deaf? No matter. Words are no use to him. He'll never see you again. Don't go.
Oh, Barbie. It's not for good.
No. Doesn't matter about my trunk. The toys will do for the baby when he's older. Everything else can be thrown away.
You said the trunk was your history.
Lying here, one has no history. Just each hour of the day. Is Susan getting well?
You can see the nursing home from your balcony. Captain Samuels says she can come out to go to Nicky Paynton's party. That's next week.
I shall sit out on the balcony and transmit prana to her. That's the goodness in the air. You breathe it in and out, like smelling roses. Is Captain Beauvais waiting for you with the car?
No, I'll get a rickshaw. I must go now. Bye-bye, Barbie.
Bye, Sarah. You're right, if you have time.
Of course.
If you meet a Mr. Studholme, but that's very unlikely. He's mission, but very important.
Yes, I'll remember.
I hope Susan is better for Nicky Paynton's party. God doesn't hear.
Hello, Mrs. Squires.
Rather an extraordinary choice for Susan's first time out. A party.
She wanted to come, apparently. She asked this Captain Samuels chap, and he said it was a first-rate idea.
Her trick cyclist?
He's dropping in later to take her back, so she won't get too tired.
You must be so looking forward to going home.
Shan't be home very long. We're all packing up and going to Darjeeling, and then on to Cal for Christmas. So I'll hardly see Rose Cottage at all.
Isn't Sarah in Calcutta now?
With Aunt Fanny.
Are you all right, darling?
Yes, I'm fine. I'm trying to say hello to everyone in case I'm leaving early. Hello, Dorothy. Hello, Mrs. Landbourne. Hello. How are the children?
Say she's rather better than herself again. Susan used to let people come to her. Now she's mingling. Perhaps this Jew boy is cleverer than Mildred thinks.
Isn't that him now?
I'll have to do my bit. Captain Samuels, I'm Nicky Paynton, the one who's throwing this shindig. Come on in. Isabel, may I introduce Captain Samuels? Captain Samuels, Mrs. Rankin, the wife of our area commander.
How do you do?
How do you do?
Will you have a drink?
No thanks, I mustn't stay.
Are you related at all to Myra and Izzy Samuels? They're friends of ours at home.
Sir Isaac Samuels, no. He's no relation.
But I gather you know him.
Professionally. I've met Lady Myra at Chester Square.
If you know Izzy professionally, you must be interested in tropical medicine, too. I'm afraid I know absolutely nothing about psychiatry. Are you a Freudian or a Jungian? Isn't that what one is supposed to ask?
People do. I find Reich's ideas of interest.
And what does Mr. Reich say?
Any answer I could give would be an oversimplification.
Well, it's the only kind I'd understand, so do tell us.
Whatever the cause of the neurosis, the psychotherapist is concerned with the patient's ability to relax. Reich believes that the human orgasm is a major factor in physical and mental health.
Oh, God.
I hope I haven't caused offense.
Not at all. I asked a question, and you answered. And I see you're pressed for time.
I have quite a full afternoon, if you'll excuse me.
Hello, Sam. Are we going?
If you're ready.
Shall I come round this evening, darling?
You must be bored stiff with it, Mummy. There's really no need. Thank you for letting me come to your party, Mrs. Paynton.
Hope you had fun.
Come on, Sam. Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
I'm quite impressed with that young man. Why don't you and Nicky come back to Flagstaff House when everyone's gone? We'll have a rubber or two and wind up. was it, Mildred, did you see?
I couldn't. There were blinds down to the windows.
Blinds? What was it, a damned hearse on Flagstaff Road? Was there a crest?
I didn't see one.
Sorry, ma'am, sir.
It's all right, Shuffy. It's not your fault.
Whoever it was, they must have been at Flagstaff House, that's certain.
And left a card.
Yes. Drive on, Shaffy. We'll ask the sentry who it was, and if I know anything about it, we shan't see them again.
Clarissa?
Ask her.
Clarissa?
Oh, there you are, Barbara. I was just going to see if you had a moment.
Plenty of moments.
There seems to be some mystery about a trunk at Rose Cottage.
No mystery. The trunk is mine. You want it removed?
Be appreciated.
Captain Coley is keeping an eye on things while the Leightons are away.
A spot of bother. Their houseboy suspected Marley of having stolen the thing, hidden in shed.
Didn't Marley explain it was mine?
That's why I'm here. Check his story.
In any case, you want it removed.
That will be Arthur.
There's no room, you see, for the trunk at Clarissa's. It's different now. Back in harness. Letter from Mr. Studhelm in Calcutta. Temporary appointment at the infant school Dibrapore. Apparently, he was visited by Sarah. You knew she was there?
Yes.
No doubt she reassured him I should soon be fit again, apart from my silly voice. Oh, dear. I must conserve it for the children at Dibrapore. What time will be convenient?
For the trunk? Tomorrow. Doesn't have to be first thing.
Oh, second thing tomorrow will be fine. No need for you to be there. Just tell them, Marley.
Right. Thanks.
And thank you for sending back my sou'wester, Captain Coley. I came with the spoons, but there was no one there.
No. Thank you. Regiment most grateful for the spoons.
Ida Taro. Marley. Anyone there? I beg your pardon. What are you doing here? This is private property.
I'm sorry. I came to see the Leightons, but the Marley tells me they're in Calcutta. I asked if I could look round. My name is Ronald Merrick.
I do apologize. Of course. Captain Merrick. My name's Barbara Batchelor. I was Mabel Layton's companion. I used to live here.
Miss Layton mentioned you to me in connection with a Miss Crane. Is that correct?
How clever of you to remember. Edwina and I were old friends. They've taken in the chairs. I can't ask you to sit. How long are you in Pancot?
Only for a week. I'm at the hospital for tests and fittings.
I'm sorry.
I shan't miss it, as long as I can ride.
It's fortunate you came today. The Marley was expecting me, otherwise you'd have found the gate locked. I came to fetch my trunk. I expect you saw it.
Where are you living now?
At the Rectory bungalow. You must come and visit us. Though I expect there are a lot of people anxious to meet you because you're famous. Susan was tremendously grateful to you for trying to rescue her husband from that burning truck. And then...
Yes?
I was thinking of the Manners case.
Do you smoke?
She was here, you know. Lady Ethel Manners. I saw her at the church.
Really?
But perhaps you'd rather not speak about it. Some people said you were let down by your superior officers after the arrests.
They were guilty, you know. One in particular, his name is Kumar. The Inspector General agreed. Nobody let me down, and it's all over. The girl is dead.
The child's alive?
I mean, the case died with the girl. His child, presumably. At least, one presumes she imagined so. Must have been a beautiful garden.
Yes. She cared for it. Mabel, I mean. Tell me about Edwina Crane.
What did you want to know?
She left a letter before she burned herself to death. It wasn't read at the inquest. Do you know what it said?
It was sufficient to justify a verdict of suicide whilst of unsound mind. Though there was one phrase I remember which made her sound very sane, at least to me.
What was it?
There is no God. Not even on the road from Dibrapur.
From Dibrapur?
She was traveling from there to Mayapur when she was attacked. The rioters burned her car. The Indian schoolmaster who was with her was killed.
She held him in her arms. There, on the road. There is no God. Not even on the road from Dibrapur. That's where I'm going.
What did you say?
Nothing. My voice. Sorry.
It's going to rain. I must be going.
Oh, wait. There's something I want to give you. Come, you can help me. The lock may be a little rusty. It's only a little rusty. Oh, look! I'd forgotten this. A piece of lace Mabel gave me. Butterflies caught in a web. She wanted me to have it as a shawl. Like this. Here. Here is what I wanted to give you.
Oh, yes. I remember this. The jewel in the crown.
The other hand. Is it too heavy?
I don't think so.
Right.
You can do it.
You're giving this to me?
Of course.
Why?
One should always share one's hopes. This represents an unfulfilled one. This is the Queen. This is her crown. The jewel. The jewel is India. We've had everything in this picture, except what got left out. I call it the unknown Indian. He isn't there, so the picture isn't finished. Let me relieve you of the weight. I'll have the Marley wrap it in a piece of paper. Would you be so kind as to tell the rickshaw wallers to put the trunk in?
With the trunk in the rickshaw?
What else?
I'd have said it'd be far too heavy.
Oh, nonsense. It only contains my years. They're light enough.
I don't advise this. Have you far to send it?
Only down the hill to the church.
It's very steep. I think the fellows are right. It's too great a load.
I'm paying them well. They're old men. It's a kindness, really.
How do you intend to get back yourself?
Oh, in there, of course. Goodbye, Marley.
Well, the weight will be impossible.
I shall balance the trunk. Just help me in. We shall soon be on a splendid even keel. Oh, did it hurt?
A little.
Poor boy. I heard you were to be decorated. Did it come through?
Yes.
An MC?
A DSO, for some reason.
Oh, that's very distinguished. Congratulations. I'm sorry you missed the Leightons.
There'll be other opportunities.
Don't forget the picture. Au revoir, Captain Merrick. Remember India, our hope.
Easily some of the best news coming out of Germany today is the release of more and more Allied prisoners of war. Stalag 11B, which held about 6,500 men, was liberated by the 7th Armored Division, the Desert Rats, and at least 15 Allied nations were represented in the camp. Men holding up 5 fingers are indicating that they've been prisoners for 5 years. When Brunswick was captured by the Americans, Oflag 79, one of the biggest officers' camps in Germany, was liberated. There were officers of the RAF, Canadians, Indians, and others here, and even before they left their prison, they were naturally thrilled to the core not only by cigarettes, but by the prospect that now lay ahead.
Good morning, Edwina. Or are we Barbie today? What are we looking at? Birds. Aren't we speaking today either? Or is it a day of silence? Edwina? Edwina, there's someone to see you.
Barbie? Barbie?
She hasn't spoken since she came. She's incorrigible.
Thank you, Sister Mary. Barbie? How are you? Can you speak? Do I live in Rampur? No, Pancot. Rose Cottage. I'm going to Bombay soon. I'm going to meet my father. Remember? My father was in prison camp. He's free. He's coming home. Don't you remember? The birds? What birds? Where do you mean? I can't see any. Are they? Oh, yes, I see them now. Big birds. Far away. Vultures. They're round the towers of silence for the Rampur Parsees, where they leave the bodies of their dead. The vultures clean the bones. Oh, Barbie, can't you remember anything? You said that God was deaf. Perhaps he hears in silence.